Good evening. The lawyer for Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen joins us tonight on the eve of her testimony before a Senate subcommittee. And perhaps it was just a coincidence, but today the world's largest social network went down. Facebook and Facebook-owned Instagram and WhatsApp were all unreachable for much of the day, prompting one Twitter user to write half-jokingly, "Instagram and Facebook are currently not working as our democracy, society, and a healthy sense of self." Except it's no joke, according to the whistleblower in question, former Facebook employee Frances Haugen, who revealed herself last night on CBS News' 60 Minutes.
When we live in an information environment that is full of angry, hateful, polarizing content, it erodes our civic trust, it erodes our faith in each other, it erodes our ability to want to care for each other. The version of Facebook that exists today is tearing our societies apart and causing ethnic violence around the world.
Tearing our society apart. No joke and no accident, she says. She's got evidence or documents to go with that claim. Haugen left Facebook in May, taking with her a trove of internal company documents, which she sent to lawmakers, federal regulators, and the Wall Street Journal. On the program last night, CBS's Scott Pelley quoted one of those documents.
We have evidence from a variety of sources that hate speech, divisive political speech, and misinformation on Facebook and the family of apps are affecting societies around the world.
Now, the company knew this, she says, and made changes in 2018 to the computer programming that it uses, the algorithms, to determine which items out of potentially thousands you actually see on your Facebook newsfeed.
And one of the consequences of how Facebook is picking out that content today is it is optimizing for content that gets engagement or reaction. But its own research is showing that content that is hateful, that is divisive, that is polarizing, it's easier to inspire people to anger than it is to other emotions.
Misinformation, angry content is enticing to people and keeps them on the platform.
Yes. Facebook has realized that if they change the algorithm to be safer, people will spend less time on the site, they'll click on less ads, they'll make less money.
And that's the bottom line. Yet Facebook, whether out of prudence or patriotism, fear of lawsuits, or simple decency or whatever, did make changes ahead of the 2020 election. Now, despite that, as we've been reporting for more than a year and a half now, the pre-election social media world was full of angry misinformation, including, of course, from the former president. Analysis by the left-leaning Media Matters organization reported in the Washington Post showing that a quarter of the former president's Facebook posts for 2020 and until the Capitol insurrection contained extremist rhetoric or misinformation about the election, COVID, or its critics. The study, using Facebook's own data crunching tool, found that the problematic postings were shared and liked more than 927 million times. As you know, he was not the only one. Many of his supporters who attacked the Capitol either shared their exploits on Facebook or spread the so-called Stop the Steal messages across the network. Making it easier, Haugen says, those pre-election changes to the algorithm, which didn't even fully work anyhow, had been reversed.
And as soon as the election was over, they turned them back off, or they changed the settings back to what they were before to prioritize growth over safety. And that really feels like a betrayal of democracy to me.
Well, the question, though, is, does Facebook see it that way? Here's Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg on a Reuters podcast the Monday after the insurrection.
I think these events were largely organized on platforms that don't have our abilities to stop hate and don't have our standards and don't have our transparency.
Now, keeping them honest, the mere fact that our lead story today centers on a whistleblower certainly says something about transparency. Sandberg went on to say that the company banned so-called Stop the Steal content from the platform. She did not mention, however, that Facebook only imposed that ban after the insurrection. In addition, a Facebook internal report obtained by BuzzFeed News described the company's effort against Stop the Steal as, quote, piecemeal. Again, if Frances Haugen is to be believed, by the time the big lie started spreading across social media, Facebook had already reversed some of the safety measures which might have limited the damage, but which might also have made the company less money. Ms. Sandberg did not mention that in her podcast interview. And listen to what company founder Mark Zuckerberg said about all this during congressional testimony back in March.
We removed content that could lead to imminent real-world harm. We've built an unprecedented third-party fact-checking program, and if something is rated false, then we add warning labels and significantly reduce its distribution. We invest a lot in directing billions of people to authoritative information. The system isn't perfect, but it's the best approach that we've found to address misinformation in line with our country's values.
Now, we've heard similar words from the company before. In the wake of Charlottesville in 2017, when white nationalists used Facebook to spread hate, after the Cambridge Analytica scandal, when Trump consultants exploited the data of millions of Facebook users. We've heard it throughout a year and a half of COVID misinformation. Facebook has promised to change, and to its credit, the company has made changes, but they haven't been enough, certainly according to this whistleblower. Only now, thanks to because of this whistleblower, we have a better picture, perhaps, of the financial incentives that Facebook has not to crack down harder, and a better sense of what the company itself knew about the damage it allows. We invited Facebook to come on the program. The company declined.